So right now you have a small printout and a larger canvas, and we are going to use the grid process to get it transferred to your canvas accurately. So if you measure the width of this printout, it should be exactly 8 inches wide, and we're going to make our lines every inch. So mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm doing this at the bottom, but I also need to do this at the top. Otherwise, my lines will not be straight. So mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, making sure the 0 mark is lined up with your corner crop marks. Then rotate your ruler and connect the marks, making perfectly straight lines right across your image. Because of my white background blending with my white paper, on the absolute right edge, I'm going to use my corner crop marks to make a nice straight line, and the same on my absolute left edge, using my corner crop marks to make a nice straight line so I can see the outlines of my picture. Now I need to go ahead and do the same thing on the left and right sides to make lines across, dividing up everything into 1-inch segments once again. So make sure the 0 of your ruler is lined up with the top of your image. Mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Slide your ruler to the right side and do the same thing. Make sure 0 is lined up and mark at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now rotate your ruler and connect the marks to complete the grid, so that you have 1-inch squares everywhere on your picture. If you have rectangles, you have done something wrong. You need to go back and see where you went wrong, erase the wrong lines, and try again. All of these boxes should be perfect 1-inch squares. Now if I have the same number of boxes in the same proportion on my canvas, I can make a copy of this image. I have 8 boxes across the top and 6 boxes down the side. I want the same thing on my larger canvas. Because it's 12 inches, these boxes will need to be 1.5 inches. So mark at 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, 9, and 10.5. When I count these, I have 8 spaces. They're larger spaces, but they should still be equal. Do the same thing at the bottom of the canvas, even though mine is off screen. Mark 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, 9, and 10.5. Now turn your ruler, connect the marks, and draw perfectly straight lines across your canvas. We'll use this same concept for the horizontal lines. We want 6 sections on our canvas because there are 6 on the paper. There will be 1.5 inches. Mark it 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, and 7.5. That should give you 6 spaces between the lines. On the other side, mark it 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, and 7.5. Then rotate your ruler, line up the marks, and draw perfectly straight lines across the canvas. Now we can use these boxes to break the image down and draw it more accurately than we would without the boxes. The stuff in the background does not need to be included, so the shadow in my right corner I will not draw. However, I do want to go ahead and maybe practice what I might do for some of my letters on my canvas. Then I can use the boxes to transfer everything proportionally to my canvas. Drawing on the paper is easier than drawing on the canvas because of the texture of the canvas. It can be difficult to draw and erase. You will need to draw the outline of each different shade of gray. So where there's an especially dark blob, I need to outline that separately from the medium and the light blobs on my mannequin. There are some very complicated edges you will need to draw, but there should also be some much more simpler areas. When you finish, you should have a pretty accurate drawing of your photograph.